Hey, it's Zim, and today we're checking out Gladiator Guild Manager. This is an early access on Steam and is available for $9.99 or your regional equivalent. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the game I've currently got running and see if it's worth picking up yet, or if you should hold off until we see more of a content update. And as you can see, we're into the game, and we're just kind of barely into this game. I've beaten the first arena, and as you do, the map will expand. I will say that the game doesn't kind of tell you how the map expands until you start doing these arenas, and there's a lot to take in with this screen. It feels very mobile-ish, like everything feels like the icons were meant to be on a phone to be tapped. Everything is very mobile feeling. Even the art style kind of feels like Clash of Clans in some ways, and so I like the art style, don't get me wrong, I think it's nice. There's a lot of polish to this game, but it definitely does feel like it was meant for mobile design. Up at the top here, you have different resources, different reputations with the factions, and then of course the days going by. These days or time windows will open up different events and allow you to go into the arenas and fight. At the very bottom here are your gladiators, and then these are quick menu options over here on the bottom right hand corner, and basically what that's going to allow you to do is jump to those buildings, or you can find them on the mini-map here and just click on them. As your map expands, I'm sure those buttons become more and more important, but as it is now, I don't see why you need them. And as you can see, this is my guild. You have different buildings that you can interact with and build new ones. The new buildings will give you different units, and if you upgrade these buildings, those units will have more options. There are also buildings that will increase the amount of gladiators you can hold and the amount of items you can hold. These resources come from helping out in quests or fighting and getting them as rewards, or eventually you can buy them as well with gold. But gold is used for basically everything, so you kind of want to be cautious with that as well, because if you want new gladiators, well, you have to buy them. If you want your gladiators to hang around, well, you're going to have to pay them. Anyway, we can see we have an event available to us currently, which is training peasants.
Are you willing to help us train some more? We're trying to improve our defenses.
As you can see, the quests are voice acted. In fact, all of the quests are voice acted so far, which is a very nice touch. Kind of surprising. I will say, though, that none of the gladiator fights are voice acted, though, which makes it feel very empty and hollow when you're in the arena itself. Some, like, over commentary track would be very nice, but it's fine. As you can see, it gives us a difficulty rating up here, how many gladiators we'll be able to use, and then what we're fighting. So in this case, it's a 4v1. And I don't think my units will be able to deal with this, so we'll avoid it for right now. As we can see, I can't use the Ring of Death arena yet for a couple more turns, so we're going to have to let the days play out. You can speed that up slightly, and then you can pause it whenever you want. So we'll go into the Ring of Death. Now, the Ring of Death arena is an arena that you're always going to be able to do, and it will essentially give you these exact same 4 quests. You won't be able to refresh and do these again until you've completed all 4, so in this case, I have to complete 1 versus few before I can do the others. I find this quite annoying. You'll be training your gladiators from like level 1 or level 2, and so it can become really frustrating when you're forced to do like 1 versus few, and the gladiators you have just aren't able to keep up, so you're kind of like waiting on quests to level them and then be able to do this. For the most part, it's an auto battler. I like the idea of single player auto battlers, but I haven't seen a good one come through yet. As you can see, we can see the different enemies. This is random every time, so if you fail one and then load into another one later, you will have different enemy options. In this case, these are 3 ranged units, so it's going to be slightly tough for any of my units. And then you can actually place them wherever you want. So we'll place our knight here and have him fight. So he's going to get shot at here. And as you can see, arrows can get blocked. If the knight's paying attention, but if they get him in the back like that, he'll take more damage. Obviously, I'm not going to win this fight. Now, if your gladiator dies in arenas, you'll want to resurrect them. That costs either gold or a resource gem that you get from quests and things like that. Also kind of feels mobile-ish with the gems and the gold cost. However, if you also notice that your gladiator is going to die, to avoid all that, you can just actually hit surrender. You don't get any rewards, but you wouldn't get any rewards for dying either, and it saves your gladiator from dying, so you don't have to resurrect them. It kind of makes the entire purpose of it meaningless if you have a surrender button like that, when you know that like your gladiator is going to die, because it just takes any real tension or threat of throwing your gladiators into fights that might be too strong for them, and throws it out the window and says, well, I can always just surrender and I won't lose anything other than a bit of time. Now with these quests, there's also some time limit on them, and they'll also give you rewards with their essentially faction. Now, it looks like it wants you to kind of pick and choose which factions you're helping, but basically, because you want to be leveling your gladiators, you're never going to not do a quest, so then you end up always getting reputation with all of them, at least in the early game so far. You just have to take the quests and do them, and I haven't had more quests from the Baroness or the High Necromancer, so I'm getting them from the people, and so I just need to be able to level my gladiators, so like it takes the RPG choices out of that as well, which like I feel like that's what they're going for, but ultimately you're just going to do it anyway. There is a gladiator market. This will get refreshed pretty soon here. As we can note on the top, that'll change how many gladiators are available. It will only show you the ones kind of available to you based on the buildings available to you. Not necessarily built though, because I don't have like the Frost Tower built for the Cryomancers, but like I have the potential to build it, so then it will show me them potentially being available. And you also have the item market. This is where you buy gear for your characters. All characters or gladiators will have 2 item slots base, and then as you upgrade their buildings, will increase the availability of items that they have. And yeah, that's basically the game. I will say with auto battlers like this, like you have to do something to get someone involved in the fights, otherwise they just won't care. And this game definitely has that problem. I feel like I lose interest 10-15 minutes into the game every time, just because like there's not much to do other than wait for time to pass, throw them in the gladiator fights to train or do a quest, and then wait until I'm strong enough to where I'm confident I can take the arena, and then so far it's been repeat that and keep doing that across the map. So I definitely would like to see some more engagement, maybe some more options with these quests in terms of like helping the different factions, like have 2 quests on like both sides of it, so you actually have choices to make. And then there's some issues I have with like the ranged combat, so we'll see if we can get some melees versus a ranged, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Alright, so we're gonna throw my archer in here because she's one of our best, and you're gonna see what I mean with the, let's see if we can, oh, well, apparently she's just gonna start with her back turned. It's not very useful. Yeah, I would like to see the facing change based on where the enemies are positioned. But you're going to see what happens when she's backed into a corner with a melee. Hopefully she'll kill this archer first. There's that ward, close the distance. And so... well, basically, these ranged units have a dodge roll, but if they ever find themselves with a melee enemy close to them, they will use it and then just dodge roll right into the wall behind them. And so they actually don't gain any distance from the melee units, and so they get stuck in like this like weird melee mode where they cannot like do anything. So as you can see, she died, so we can resurrect her. Cost me 300 gold to resurrect her, or 2 resurrect gems. This has gone up, by the way. I don't know if it's based on level. I'm guessing it's based on level, but originally like resurrects are a lot lower. So if like my level 1, for example, were to die, it would be a lot cheaper than 300, and it would only cost 1 revive gem. Like I said, very mobile-ish feel to it, but we'll revive, why not? So overall, right now, do I recommend playing Gladiator Guild Manager? Probably not. Like I said, the polish is really there. I would like to see like, or hear some voiceover rather in these arenas, or at least the special arenas that you have to do to keep opening up the map, just like we have with these events happening. And I would like to see more engagement with the auto battle combat instead of just throwing them into an arena. Like, at least give me a reason to like have tactical changes. Like, as it is, like when they level up, you get to put different skill points into their stuff, but you don't have a real understanding of what these actually represent, other than, oh, this gets increased by strength, and this is getting increased by, you know, agility. But I don't have like what's intelligence doing other than increasing magic damage. Does it matter? Does it change how the AI behaves? I have no clue. So I'd like to see like some like more explanation of what these do when you hover over them, instead of just like default value. And then, like I said, I'd love to see like some options that made the auto battling more interesting. So like, give me some ways to interact with my team or my gladiators, or interesting choices to load them up before they go into the fight. That way I'm not just like, all right, well, I'm going to send them, and then if they're about to die, I'll pause and I'll surrender the match, and then we'll repeat this until I eventually win. But yeah, for right now, I would say wait on Gladiator Guild Manager until we see some content updates and some more patches, and hopefully we'll see some improvements towards this. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you've checked out Gladiator Guild Manager, what you liked about it, what potential you might see with it, what you'd like to see happen with it. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys later.